Hello, we're going to take a look at your MT11 LT6 seminar on the quadratic formula. And the first few problems, you're going to discover the quadratic formula and compare it to how we've been doing quadratics this entire chapter. So do the first 4 questions and then restart the video after you do the first 4 questions. Now, our quadratic formula that we just learned, you need to memorize it. It's kind of a long formula, isn't it? So we've got a little song to help us go with this. It goes like Pop Goes the Weasel. And it says, let me get the highlighter here first. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So when you do these problems on your assignment using the quadratic formula, you want to write it down until it automatically gets memorized in your head. Now, if we take a look at example 1, we've done most of the other examples in Discovery. It says the normal blood pressure of an adult woman and P millimeters of mercury is given her age in T years can be modeled by this equation. If Seiko's blood pressure is 120, in other words, in my equation, I'm going to replace P with 120 equals 0.01 T squared, which is actually our X then, isn't it? Plus 0.5 T plus 107. Now, when you use the quadratic formula, just like you do with graphing and just like you do with factoring, it's got to equal to 0. I can't use the quadratic formula if it's equal to a number. So I minus 120 from both sides. So my new equation, I'm going to write my variables on the left side, is 0.01 t squared plus 0.5 t, and then negative 120 plus 107 is negative 113. So when I do my formula, I know A is 0.01, B is 0.5, and C is negative 113. So when I use my formula, I'm going to say T, instead of rather than X, equals negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So in other words, T, the opposite of 0.5 is negative 0.5. We get 2 answers because quadratics have 2 answers. 0.5 squared minus 4 times A, which is 0.01, times C, which is negative 113. And then we're going to divide that by 2 times A, which is 0.01. Now, most of this now, at this point, we're going to use our calculator. So it's negative 5, or negative 0.5, plus or minus 0.5 squared is 0.25. I always like to do the signs first. So a minus 4, but we're multiplying it by a negative, so a negative times a negative is a positive. Now, let's use our calculator for this part. And we're going to take 4, come on you, 4 times 0.01 times 113. So I get 4.52. So plus 4.52. And I'll divide that by 0.02. Notice the whole thing is divided by 0.02 when you do this. So I get negative 0.5 plus or minus the square root. If I take 4.52 plus 0.25, I get 4.77. All over 0.02. Now I get two answers. So I'm going to take negative 0.5 plus the square root of 4.77. In fact, I'm going to put this in one line, so we'll put in a parenthesis. So negative 0.5 plus the square root of 4.77. And I'm going to divide that by 0.02. So her blood pressure should be about 84.2. Or I take that back. Not her blood pressure, her age should be about 84 years. It was negative 0.5, wasn't it? Oh, I had negative 0.5 in there. I thought maybe I didn't. Okay, 84 years, or let's do it backwards. How about if I subtract? So if I take negative 0.5 minus the square root of 4.77, I get negative 134. Now that's the answer to the quadratic, but is it an answer to the problem? Can a woman be negative 134 years? No. So when we do these formulas, you have to answer within the context of the problem. So in other words, our answer is about 84 years to be a healthy individual.